Happy Friday, everybody. I'm going to start this for like the 10th time because word salad and tired brain and rambles. If anybody works with small children, has small children, works with grown adults, you should be aware that it is a full moon tomorrow, which is affecting behavior. I feel like it's affecting my mental clarity, so there's that. But yeah, I'm glad that I made it to the weekend and definitely need a break mentally to get away from nasty negative energy of mad people. So I have a small for me book haul and just what I'm reading, what I plan on reading. It's not a big stack. I have one that my sister let me borrow, one a friend gave to me. She had an extra copy. She's like, hey, do you want this? Yeah, sure. Who says no to books, especially if they're free? And then I have gone thrift book happy. Like I go through spits and spurts of, I don't think of thrift books that they're there, and then I just am like, oh, hey, put them all in my cart, or multiple orders. This isn't all of them. There are still 3 in the mail that were supposed to come today, but we know in the U.S. the slow postal system, so it's supposed to come tomorrow, but it's I'm trying to even remember what they were. I know one was Mary Todd Lincoln because I had read a CNN article, since they're doing the mini, if you want to call it a mini series on CNN about Lincoln. So there's that. And I feel like I got a couple by that same author. So there's like 3 coming from her. I'll pop them in the next time I have a book haul. But I will start with the ones that I have from the Dollar Tree. I got The Rain Watcher by Tatiana de Rosney. I read Sarah's Key years ago, and I didn't love it. It was mediocre, but I, thought maybe it's just that one book. And I'll give her another shot, especially since it's short. It's maybe, 200 pages-ish? Yeah. So we have this one. I'm assuming it's World War II. I picked it up because of her name. I actually don't think this one is. This is a family reunion set against a Paris backdrop fraught with secrets, revelations, and resolutions. So we have that one. And this one I have had on my wish list for a very long time. I think I have it in my favorites or saved or, bookmarked that you can do on Scribd. And of course I've met my limit for the month because it's what I do. So I have to wait. I think my renewal is Sunday, 6, 26, 20th, so Sunday. And then I'll have access. But I was like, oh, well, hey, problem solved. So it's The Known World by Edward P. Jones. This one is historical fiction. A black farmer, former slave who falls under the tutelage of William Robbins, the most powerful man in Manchester County, Virginia. Making certain he never circumvents the law, Townsend runs his affairs with unusual discipline. But when death takes him unexpectedly, his widow, Caldonia, can't uphold the estate's order and chaos ensues. In a daring and ambitious novel, Jones has woven a footnote of history into an epic that takes an unflinching look at slavery in all of its moral complexities. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. If you've read it, let me know, and I'll bump it up for March, since we have 2 days left of February. I'm not going to be able to get to it in February, but I was super stoked to find that one. I didn't even hesitate. I put it in my basket. And then the one that my friend gave to me is A Little Thing Called Life on Loving Elvis Presley, Bruce Jenner, and Songs in Between by Linda Thompson. This is another one I know I have it bookmarked on Scribd, but I have this. I don't think it has great reviews. I think it's maybe 3.5, so it's nothing fantastic, but brain fluff is what we need sometimes. And then the one my sister let me borrow, which is new, brand new, and I was surprised that she bought it. It doesn't to me seem like something that she would read at all. She is totally I'll throw out some book titles of stuff that she would be like. The Kiss Quotient. When I'm wanting examples, they won't come to me. That's a good example of, women's fiction. Romance. Nicholas Sparks. I don't do Nicholas Sparks anymore. But we have The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah. She gave it to my mother first, and my mom read it. And she said it was a slow getting into it, but she ended up liking it. Like she said, once she got into it, she couldn't put it down. I've only ever read, The Great Alone? And it was so depressing, but it was still pretty good. I have to finish this one. Like, I have to do this one beginning of March because my sister is a teacher and her spring break is in 2 weeks. So, like, I've got to hop to it. So, this one's not quite March of the Mammoths worthy. It's about 454 pages. Close enough. I'm not going to count it as that, but I've got to hop to that one. And then my random thrift books, we have Thanks for the Money, How to Use My Life Story to Become the Best Joel McHale You Can Be. Joel McHale. I have mixed feelings about him as a human being. I mean, to be frankly honest, he seems really douchey. I first saw him whenever he got, he took over for The Soup. Does anybody remember The Soup? I was obsessed with that when it was... I'm not going to be able to think of his name, that was on The Soup before he was as the host. He was so much better than Joel McHale, but I'm going to try it. I don't know anything like it. I know it's not his life per se, so I'm going to see what tips and tricks he has. The Gift of Rain by Tan Tuan Ing. I think I saw this on Doris's channel, and that she read it. Aldi Books. If you're not aware of Doris, you should be. This one, in 1939, at the outset of World War II, 16-year-old Philip is a lonely outsider on the lush Malayan island of Penang. Sorry if I said that wrong. Penang. Alienated from his community and family, he at last discovers a sense of belonging through an unexpected friendship with another outsider, a foreign diplomat whose true purpose on the island will ultimately bring unspeakable devastation. When Philip discovers he has been an unwitting traitor to his homeland and its people, he must work in secret to save as many lives as possible, even as his own family is torn apart. At once harrowing and luminous, Tan Tuan Ing's celebrated debut novel is thrilling, epic, and a true literary page-turner. So, again, I think this is one that is on Scribd. Like, I feel like all of these are on Scribd. But I just wanted my own copy. Is it March of the Mammoths worthy? We're gonna look at all the last of the ones. Nope. 432 pages. Just shy. March of the Mammoths is supposed to be 800 or more, but you can cheat and it be 500 or more. This one should be for show. For sure. It is for sure. No, let's do this one. Because it kind of is the same geographical location. Hue, again, if I said it wrong, sorry. Mark Bowden. This one is definitely March of the Mammoths. Without all of the added footnotes, it is 539 pages. I borrowed this from the library, but I knew with it being this big, there's no way I can finish it. It's due back in less than 2 weeks. So I found it for, I think it was a $3.99 copy. And so I feel like, hey, I get to keep the library book forever since it's an old library copy with the crinkly. So this one, apparently not many people know about this part of the Vietnam War and this particular conflict. So I figured that would be interesting to learn because, we all need to learn more than just the basics in life. And then this one. This one is March of the Mammoth as well. I forgot already how many pages it is, but I feel like I had a copy of this at one time, a little bit taller, because I remember it being a little thinner. At least my edition was. But it's 522 pages. Came out in 2000 and copyright 2001. Trade paper, first trade printing 2002. So it's pretty near 20 years old. But Cane River, Lolita Tatamy, Oprah's Book Club. I don't recall it being Oprah's Book Club when I had a copy of it. So maybe I had a copy of it before it was selected. I don't think that I ever tried it or started it and somehow lost track of it in my move. I was guilty of just getting rid of a bunch. So this one, on a Creole plantation on the banks of Louisiana's Cane River, 4 generations of astonishing women battle injustice to unite their family and forge success on their own terms. They are women whose lives begin in slavery, who weather the Civil War, and who grapple with the contradictions of emancipation through the turbulent early years of the 20th century. There's Elizabeth, who bears both a proud legacy and the yoke of bondage, her youngest daughter Suzette, who is the first to discover the promise and heartbreak of freedom, Suzette's strong-willed daughter Philomene, who uses a determination born of tragedy to reunite her family and gain unheard-of economic independence, and Emily, Philomena's spirited daughter, who fights to secure her children's just due and preserve their dignity and future. So, a generational saga. So, this one, I feel like I need to put in my March of the Mammoths, but I'm already iffy about being able to finish the 2 that I have. If you follow Olive at a Book Olive, you have undoubtedly heard of this book a million times, and I finally said, okay, I need to know The Love. Again, I borrowed it from the library, didn't get around to it, so I found a copy. I don't mind its condition because, to me, I prefer used books that somebody's already loved and like taking the stress out of beating it up a little bit, because if it's new and I remotely crease it, or it stresses me out. So used books all the way. We have The Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. This is her favoritist book of all times. So I'm going to get to read it for the first time, which undoubtedly everybody has to be one of those people that you have one book that you wish you could read it for the first time multiple times. Even though you do read it multiple times and love it every time, it's just like that magic. Kind of like a movie. It's that magic of the first time. So, we have Rules of Civility to try and see. Don't let me down, Olive. Don't let me down. And then we have, these will make sense because they're like same genre. Scribd. I don't know how or why I randomly found this. I wasn't looking. And started reading it, and it was actually pretty good. And this is not me at all. But it's pretty good. We have The Captain's Daughter by Peter David. Yes, it is a Star Trek novel. It's not very long, but I was enjoying it. And of course I got cut off, so I bought my own copy. When Demora Sulu, an exemplary young Starfleet officer, suddenly attacks her commanding officer, who kills her in self-defense, everyone is stunned. No one is more grief-stricken than her father, Sulu of the USS Excelsior. Determined to learn the truth behind his daughter's bizarre death, he goes to the planet where she was killed and finds himself confronted by an old enemy eager to destroy his reputation and his life. I mean, even if it weren't sci-fi, does that not sound interesting? You're like trying to figure out who killed your daughter and avenge her death. Come on. And then we have, I do like John Scalzi. Granted, I've only read Old Man's War, but I have the others in the series that I need to chop get onto, because I laughed and laughed at Old Man's War. If you have not read it, even if you are not a sci-fi person, it's good. Like, it is good. But we have Red Shirts by John Scalzi. This one was like, I think, one of his very earliest books, and it's well known in the sci-fi community, and it's supposed to be hilarious as well. I'll just read you the blurb that says, Red Shirts is a ruin your underwear funny. Let me start over. Red Shirts is A, ruin your underwear funny, B, a mind bender sure to Philip K. Dick you over, and C, absurdly rich in ideas and feeling. John Scalzi sets his imagination to stun and scores a direct hit. Read on and prosper. I think because of this is how I found out about this. Because this is a spoof of Star Trek. Come on. So these need to like be read together or back to back. And then I gotta hurry because, not necessarily, but I'm at 15 minutes. You know my videos are always long. This is another one that I have had on my wish list forever on Amazon. And finally just went ahead and got it because I bought all the others and had a free book credit. So all I paid for was the $1. It's like $1 and something sales tax or shipping. I don't remember which, but it was like $1. Seriously. One Dead in Attic, and it's just a collection of newspaper articles from the Times-Picayune. Am I saying it correctly? Anybody from Louisiana? The Picayune? I feel like that's right. A collection of articles directly in the aftermath of Katrina and then the years after on how the city was dealing with the devastation, the grief, renewal, everything in those years after. So I finally got this one and I'm so excited. And apparently it tickled me. Somebody had left a U.S. Customs post office thing for something going to Australia. I love stuff like this. I don't know why. It's exciting. And then Katrina After the Flood by Gary Rivlin. I didn't know this existed. Again, it was a library book that I checked out and didn't get to, so I got myself a library copy. And apparently, and I love this too, this was borrowed, or was from, if I'm not mistaken, yes, the New York Public Library on 53rd Street. If anybody knows that library. But it was checked out on 2/23/19 and due back on 3/16/2019. I love this stuff. I'm just like, who borrowed this? Did you enjoy it? Did it change your life? And then the last, I'll just give you my Friday reads, what I am currently reading. I cheated and started my March of the Mammoths early. I had a copy of this since it came out. It's in this house. It's in this house because I remember it moving here and I remember exactly where it was. And it's not there anymore. So I have moved it. And I guarantee as soon as I hit the last page of this book and finish it, I'll find my copy. Guaranteed. That's fine. But way long time ago in high school, yes, high school, I read She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb. And I loved it. I loved it. It was like one of my favorite books of all time. As an adult, a couple of years ago, I tried to reread it and could not. Could not. The main character was horrible. And I don't know if it was my teenage angst that just clicked with her. It was just like, oh, you soul. And now I'm just like, really? So, I don't hold that against the author. That's just my processing, because books can change. You can love it and then reread it and go, okay. Spoke to you in that time of your life. So it spoke to me at that moment that I read it and loved it. I can appreciate that, and I will still remember that I loved it. I'll leave that memory alone, but I just won't try to reread it again. And I'm finally trying. I know this much is true. And I even got a Thrift Books copy. This wasn't with this batch. This was like last year sometime. Because I had planned to read it last year, and I didn't. Because Rick McDonnell, I think, read it last year and loved it. And then Summer with Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats. If you have not watched her channel, she's so sweet. She's like she's just so bubbly. But she loved it. So I thought, you've just got to go ahead and do it for March of the Mammoths. And I am 132 pages in. I started a couple of days ago. And I'm enjoying it. So that's my early start, cheating start for this book. And I got this book, did I pre-order it? I feel like I pre-ordered it or bought it the day of. And I remember last year putting it on hold from the library, like for them to buy it. And I'm just now getting into it. Oh, is that? I don't know. Just now getting into it because I wanted to finish everything else before I devoted my time to it. And it's phenomenal. Like, if you don't have a copy of it, get it or borrow it from your library. Even if you don't know anything about her life, her as an actress, her as in any capacity, the writing is fantastic. Just as I am, Cicely Tyson. Sorry. I am further along. Yes, I am that person that I'm reading the ebook as well. I'm almost at 25%. It's great. It's like, just do it. Just put it on hold at your library or get a copy. Just do it. Like, I want to read it slowly, but then again, I want to gobble it down. But then I know when it's over, it's just going to be this, I don't know, sense of sadness, or because you can only read it the first time, one time. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely recommend this. Even though I'm only a quarter of the way through, get a copy. And then the last one, I saw this, I'm new to watching her channel, and I'm so afraid. Oh. The channel name is, we'll just say Labradors and Labradors. I'm sorry if you're watching. I just found her through, I think, maybe a book haul video, because sometimes I'll go in and just search book hauls and find new people. And she is bright and cheery and excited about reading and about life, and she's just sweet. But she picked this one out for March of the Mammoths, and I have been sitting on this copy of this book for probably 2 decades, because I specifically remember buying it at my used bookstore, McKay. If anybody out there in Tennessee loves them some McKay, it was honestly one of those McKay bargain section, like 75 cents or $1 copies, if that. And I thought, hey, I'm going to get my money's worth out of this chunker. But it's Forever Amber by Kathleen Windsor. And I have started it before, but never fully got into it. I think maybe I got 100 pages or so and put it down. Which 100 pages in this is like nothing. So I would start it fresh. Again, I don't know if I'm going to plow through this. I feel like I am. And then this would be my second March of the Mammoths. So we'll see. And this was serialized, if you didn't know. I read a book about literature and its effects on World War II, like on morale and how books saved America. You know what I mean? Like, it helped in the dark times. And they serialized this book into chunks for the troops. And they would heavily trade it. Like, I will trade you a pack of cigarettes for the latest chunk of this, because it was so smutty and banned, and I think Australia had banned it at one point. So this was a very sought after book by the troops, if you did not know that. So I want to know how smutty it really is in terms of 2021 versus if they had read it. I feel like the smutty factor is going to be like, he lightly grazed her breast. Like, I may be surprised and be like, oh, this is filthy. But that's it. I know for a fact I'm not reading anything else besides these 2 right now. I had whittled it away. I was reading like 5, and I whittled away to now I'm doing 2. So hopefully I can keep it to two, but I can't promise that I won't this evening dip into this one early too. So that's it. If you've read any of these, let me know what you are planning on reading for March of the Mammoths. I would love to know. Yeah, how are you doing mentally, physically, emotionally? 2021 is a mirror image of 2020, it feels. Stuck in the house still. I mean, I don't have to be, but as a, human being who cares for others, I am choosing to, for the most part, be home unless it's going out to get groceries or pick up something to eat. So, as much as I would love to go and take a trip to the beach or go eat at a restaurant, those are things that are not being done until I am vaccinated. And even then, that's no guarantee. So 2020 probably will be much, or 2021 will be much like 2020. So, if need be, that's what will happen, but you can't conquer something without trying. And if everybody is not trying collectively, then nothing good will come of it. I feel like I'm rambling. I don't want this to be any longer and be a start a fuss or argument for anybody that's anti-vax, or I would feel like the people that are watching me are pretty like-minded. But yeah, it's a good thing I'm an introvert and I like to read because I can do okay. I can do okay at home. Does it get boring? Does it get cabin feverish at sometimes? Yes, but if you want to stay alive, if you want your mom to stay alive and your husband to stay alive and your sister and everyone, then stay home. Your healthcare workers are dropping like flies, meaning they're quitting. And when you are sick in the hospital with a broken leg, a limb missing, a heart failure, you name it, you're not going to have anybody to take care of you. Why? Because there are selfish people out there who will not stay home and wear a mask. But anyways, that's my rant. Sorry. But I hope you have a good Friday and a good weekend and have some really good books to read. But I will see you later. Bye.